How's it going, everyone? Welcome back. So, be honest, for the last ever since this Orlando Brown Jr. signing, I've been sitting here thinking it's been a consensus that Jonah Williams is going to be the Bengals' right tackle, and in my head, I'm thinking, is that what the Bengals are going to do with this guy? I mean, is that a lock after the season he just had? And I was just maybe it could work out. Hey, it could have worked out. And it would have been great if the Bengals could have picked him up on a value deal maybe after this season. But it appears that these questions and concerns may be a little bit easier to answer now, as per Ian Rappaport, Jonah Williams has requested a trade from the Cincinnati Bengals. Kind of shocking, but at the same time, you kind of understand this guy may see his chances of playing really dwindling. And honestly, I'm okay with him being traded. First off, the optimistic side of things. The optimistic Bengals fan in me want to say, okay, you know what, though? I mean, did he have a bad year? Yeah. Was it a declining year? It sure was. You allow 14 sacks in a season, postseason include. Yeah, it's not a very good year. That's a pretty ugly year. But he was still 25. Not to mention, we can't forget this guy played through a dislocated freaking knee. And you got to give this guy all the credit in the world for, again, playing through that injury for this Cincinnati Bengals football team this year. That's a tough son of a gun. And yeah, the numbers were not good last season, but again, as a lineman, how important having that knee health throughout, it's huge. I believed in this guy's work ethic, his abilities. He's got the tools that he needs to be a good left tackle, or in this case, right tackle in the NFL. Maybe another offseason, things could have changed. A contract year could have really played up to see him improve as a player, and the Bengals could have possibly gotten a value contract out of this guy because of how he struggled his first couple seasons. He gets on that final year and say, okay, you did have a good season, but he's still not in that elite category. He's not in that above average category because of his previous years. So it's like, okay, they can get a value deal out of this guy, and you can get a value out of Jonah Williams, put a right tackle for 4 or 5 years to come. It's like, that's great. If you're a Bengals fan thinking about all these big names you got to sign, if you can get Jonah Williams starting average to above average tackle on a good deal, yeah, you're all over that. But unfortunately, that appears to be all but a dream scenario. I mean, at this point, it's clear as day, I think. There's a couple things going on in Williams' mind. First of all, you talked about a team-friendly deal, a value deal. It does feel like when you request a trade, you might be worried more about that bag than you are a potential value deal. So maybe that wasn't in the Bengals' best interest. Again, you don't want to say that because he may be just saying, I want to be a left tackle in this league. I don't want to be a right tackle. And that could be very, very well be the case as well. So we don't know. We can speculate. Maybe he's doing this because he wants a chance to start somewhere this season, a guaranteed place to start, so we can make sure he's making a lot of money after this season. Or he could just be saying, I want to play left tackle. We can't knock the guy for that. Orlando Brown Jr. was the same way. He said, it was important to me to stay at left tackle. And that was, part of his decision and where he wanted to sign and how much he signed for. So you can't knock a guy for that. But either way, if that's the case, there wasn't much of a fit for him on the Bengals, and you see why he may have wanted to walk out the door here. And it is tough, but at the same time, it does make things a little bit easier for the Bengals. This is going to be a serious competition over there. Carmen Collins, Williams, and he requests this trade before the NFL draft, where it's like, okay, if the Bengals really have to, they still can look at a tackle, potentially first, second round here. But I will say this. Per Ian Rappaport, Jonah Williams hitting a trade market would make him the top tackle available right now. He was 55th ranked in the league last year in pass protection. And take that as you will, but if you're going to call this guy the top tackle in the league, yeah, bump him up. Talk him up. He's considered a top available. You're going to get a second, third round pick maybe for. See ya. I don't mean to be like that, but see ya. You got to remember, Williams is trying to take on about a $10 million cap hit this season. You get rid of Williams, you open that door where you're, right now the Bengals were in a situation where you say Collins, Williams, it's like they weren't both going to start. There was somebody who's going to take up some cap on the bench if Collins came back healthy and able to play the season, of course. So you get rid of Williams, it's like, okay, you open up some more money for this team. You open up the money right now in free agency. It's like, okay, we can start talking about throw a little bit more money at the safety position or defensive line, or maybe they go after another offensive lineman for some depth. So, I mean, I think this is a good case scenario for both parties here, the Bengals and Jonah Williams. Or Jonah Williams possibly gets a chance to go out there, shine, and play for another team. at the position he desires as well. Bengals got a chance to shed a little bit of cap without getting hit on the cap and get some draft pick compensation return possibly here, because it looks like the way it sounds, Jonah Williams is still holding some value in this league. And you use that again, second, third round pick. Now all of a sudden, if it's a third, you can talk about taking that third, trading up a little bit. Maybe you're interested in the tight end, the offensive line. You got some draft capital here, plus the draft capital next year from the free agency signings, or losing the guys to free agency. Bengals look like they're in a good position here. You're never too excited to see a player request a trade from your team, but I think this one could play out really well for the Bengals. Again, wishing nothing but the best for Jonah Williams in the future, but if the Bengals can get a good return on this guy, again, shed the cap, get some draft, I think you got to do it. And you got to see what happens here. You definitely shop for some potential suitors here. I'll do you guys' thoughts. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next time.